it's not about what you learn. Putting that thing you learn into practice is what brings results. It's actually what brings results. So because you're going to learn different things today again, putting them to work and improving on what you learn is important. It's key. So I want to implore us that don't be like don't just write jotter and then you don't do anything about it. So without wasting time, I'm going to come back and take us in the prepare session. But we have our first guest in the house, and is so versatile when it comes to accounting and financial management. He, of course, he's been practicing for years, and he has art for business. He has art for business people and for MSME to succeed. And so from the interest, from the desire, he's been helping so many businesses, and I strongly believe that today again, as he's been doing for others, is like he says, we do for you. So I believe that with same spirit, with same interest, let's welcome our speaker for today. The first session will be taking us on the bookkeeping, accounting, and financial management for MSME from the Data Solutions Limited. He is the CEO and Data Solutions Limited, Bigila Anthony Johnson. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Everyone, good morning. I want to begin by thanking Empower Africa Project and other organizers behind this wonderful initiative for the opportunity, for the privilege to bring to bear to our listeners, whom I believe are businessmen and women, in the MSME space. And our topic that we're considering is bookkeeping, accounting, and financial management for micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. My name is Tony Bigila. Like you've been told a few moments ago, I'm the CEO, Data Solutions Limited, a company set up to solely provide bookkeeping solutions, primarily bookkeeping solutions, and by extension accounting, then tax matters, and also audit matters, specifically focusing on micro, small, and medium. I can't, okay. Oh, sorry. So just for us to understand what we want to achieve as our objective. Smith, I still have, do I still have my 1 hour divided into 45 minutes presentation and 15 minutes questions? Okay.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I like to begin by saying that we have done these slides to primarily focus on those who operate within the space of MSMEs. So we have been careful not to include any kind of accounting terminology that would be so big and will look like something strange to them. So we've broken it down to the simplest form. Our objective is that at the end of this little presentation, our listeners will be able to understand the concept of bookkeeping. What is the idea? Just at the very summary, what is the idea behind bookkeeping? What is the concept of accounting? What is the concept of financial records and systems? That's what we are hoping we'll be able to achieve at the end of this objective, at the end of this presentation. So you should be able to leave this presentation being able to understand the definition and the role of bookkeeping in your own business. And then what are the modes, what are the methods of bookkeeping? Why bookkeeping? Why are we discussing it today? What is the relevance of bookkeeping to your business? What are the benefits of bookkeeping to your business as somebody who operates within the space of the micro, small, and medium enterprise? What is the advantages? What are the advantages for keeping books for your business? And then how do you even start? Because sometimes people know that they need to do it. People even understand the advantage, they see the need, but they don't even know how to start. So part of our objective is to see how we can start our own bookkeeping from wherever we are now, whether we're running our business without keeping any form of books, or we have some mini single entry bookkeeping format, or we have some very robust, but we've not been able to make much progress on it. We're going to see how we're going to start, no matter the level that we are. We're going to categorize financial business transactions. How do we categorize financial transactions in bookkeeping? And then what is the bookkeeping tax? When you're talking about bookkeeping, what exactly do you do when you are keeping your books? What are the tax that are embedded in this concept of bookkeeping? Then very importantly, we are going to look at reports. Reports are so crucial for businesses because they form the basis for you to, first of all, understand how your business is performing, understand the status, the position of your business, understand the cash flow elements therein, and then you are now able to, most importantly, take decisions, because the numbers of your business are speaking to you. And the way they speak to you is via reports. People don't know that businesses they run communicate to them on a daily basis. Your business is talking to you. And you can only hear it very clearly when you have a proper, well-organized bookkeeping structure. The business can tell you where it's sick, whether it is the leg that is paining it, whether it's the head, whether it's the eyes. And when you don't have a bookkeeping in place, you will not hear the voice of your business. And we're going to look at what we want to offer to those of us who have an opportunity to be part and parcel of this platform. Again, like I said, don't forget that we have tried to remove any kind of technical jargon. We just try to make it very simple. So let's start with the background. Research has confirmed without any iota of doubt. It's not very clear. The part of the reason why businesses fail, particularly those playing in the space of MSMEs, is because of lack of proper financial record keeping. There are no bookkeeping system in place for many of these small and medium enterprises. According to SMEDAN, and we had a very wonderful session with a representative of SMEDAN yesterday. Now listen to this. This is alarming. It said over 50% of MSMEs fail in their first year, and 95% fail within the first 5 years. And that the most common, the commonest reason that is always given for the failure of these MSMEs is always lack of proper bookkeeping system, lack of proper accounting system, lack of proper financial system put in place by these businesses. Now, I'd like for you to take a little pause there, and let's consider the ramifications of these statistics. 50% fail in their first year, but look at the alarming statistics of 95% failing within the first 5 years. For you to realize the import of this failure, you need to do a little calculation of the resources that has been wasted for 50% of those failures for first 5 years and 95% of failure within the first for the 50% within the first year and 95% within the first 5 years. Now, let us even take an average and say, okay, there are 24 hours in a year, in a day. Multiply that by an average of 30 days, right? That will give you 720 hours in a month. Multiply that by 12 months. That will give you 8,640 hours in a year. Now multiply that by 5 years. That will give you a whopping 43,000 hours. By this 95% of MSMEs failure of time wasted. Time is one of the greatest resource in life. Time is so crucial, is so important. Those who spoke about time being money are absolutely spot on. And it means that for those 95% of businesses that fail in 5 years, they wasted 43,000 hours. 43,000 hours within those periods by which they fail. And if you that is for time alone, no, let's now begin to look at the efforts, the energy spent in trying to run these businesses, the time they spend to go and register, the energy to register with CAC, the energy to meet friends, meet colleagues, meet neighbors, meet banks, the energy to run around to jumpstart the business. If you want to add that to the time wasted, and then what about the money spent? So 3 major resources are wasted: time, efforts, energy, and then money. So it therefore means that having a proper bookkeeping, in place for our businesses, no matter how small we think that business is, has become very important, is so imperative, because it is the only way to sustain MSMEs and also to promote growth and necessary expansion. So there are 3 terms in our topic that we would like to discuss in this presentation. Number 1 is bookkeeping, and this bookkeeping is the crux of our discussion. So a lot of time is going to be spent on this, because at the level of micro and small, particularly, bookkeeping is the emphasis, for various reasons, for major reason of finance, and also the scope of work that is expected when it comes to those who operate in the micro and small. And when we now begin to get to the medium, then we can begin to talk about accounting and also financial management. So we're going to be focusing on bookkeeping, because majority of our enterprises are actually within that space of micro and small enterprises. So what therefore is bookkeeping? So we move to our definition, we move to our role. What is bookkeeping? Now, if you are able to snap this or write it or note this, however you can quickly, get this to put it in a place you cannot forget, is that bookkeeping is the process of recording, very important, underline recording, underscore recording on a day-to-day basis the details of the financial transactions and information of a business entity. So in an organized manner, this is so important. So it's not just, sometimes I go to some clients for meetings, and I see the way they try to record their financial transactions. You see, and sometimes it's so painful when you see people spend, close to 8 million, close to 9 million, 10 million, and they're counting up to 18 million in a business, and they're trying to record financial transactions in a piece of paper. a piece of paper. What did we buy? Okay, we bought margarine. Okay. Record that one. We bought, what else did we buy? We bought flour. Record that one. Then by the time you go back, they can't even find where that paper is. They are trying to remember. Okay, who is owing us? The flour we supplied to, did we collect the money? How much did they pay? 35,000 naira. No. They are supposed to, no record. So a lot of guesswork is going on. So bookkeeping is about recording every kobo you spend on your business. So you record it, you capture in detail the financial, every day you spend on your business, you put it down, pen and paper. Of course, we'll come to the modes and the method very shortly, but to put it in a layman's term, you have a pen, you have a paper, you put down the financial transactions of your business. And the financial transactions, we will see some of the details very soon. But whether you are producing and selling a product or you are rendering a service, so you see that you are spending money to render the service. Is it possible for anybody to just let me be sure that I'm still?
You are audible, sir. Go on, sir.
Thank you. All right. So
we can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Fantastic. So you record these business transactions, and they are recorded in a very organized manner to enable you track. You see, you track what you are spending. You can follow up with what you are spending. The entire idea of bookkeeping is that when you are able to spend and you're able to record and track what you have spent, you receive money, you're able to track, you're able to properly at the end of every month, every week, every year, as the case may be, properly know how the business is performing. So I said these recordings can be based on certain supporting documents. So there are documents that you will have in place that will help us to properly organize your recordings in a way and manner that you can make sense out of it on daily basis, on weekly basis, on monthly basis. So part of the supporting documents you would need to record for the purpose of financial transactions in your business are bills. When you receive bills to pay your rent, you receive bills to pay for fuel, you receive bills to pay for diesel, you receive bills to pay for transportation. So those bills, they form part of the supporting document for your bookkeeping process and activity. Receipts, people come to buy instruments from you. For example, you have a store where you sell phones and their accessories. When they come, you issue them receipts. Those receipts, they come as a supporting document for properly recording your business transactions. Invoices, when you're in a service, people want to come and paint their house for them. They want to come and install an equipment for them. It's a service they are rendering. It's a service you are rendering. When you render your service, you issue them an invoice, or before you go to site, depending on how your business is organized, you issue an invoice. Those invoices are records and documents that we can use to ensure that you have a proper bookkeeping in place. Purchase orders, very important. You make an order and then you issue a document for the person that is coming to supply the goods to know that he has the power to supply those goods, and then basis upon which you receive an invoice from me and then you do payment. Then very important also is inventory system. Now this is where a lot of SMEs also are having a lot of issues. People have inventory, they don't even know what to do about it. Some don't know how much inventory they have in their store, in their warehouse. My wife was discussing with me recently. One of the people that she supplies a supermarket how that she doesn't even know how much stock she has. This is all lack of proper bookkeeping, and how the staff have been increasingly stealing from her. All she's saying is that the money in the bank, the money in her hand, when she looks at all the money in her hand together and the amount of goods that has left the supermarket, she knows that there is a big gap. If she goes back to the market, that money in her hand and in her bank can no longer buy the equivalent of goods that have left the supermarket. Why? The staff have been stealing and stealing and stealing, and it took a long while before she got to know. So that is why bookkeeping is very important. Now, I said note below that for both manual and software, these documents could also form a part of bookkeeping process. So I'm going to come to that in a bit. Now, what is the mode of bookkeeping? So this is why I said I'm going to come to that. You can either do bookkeeping manually. So manually we mean you have some kind of exercise books. Some people is foolscap. They call it application notebooks. Maybe the smaller versions also, exercise book, 16 is whatever, and then they pen down, they record those things there. That is a manual form of bookkeeping. So they have one book. When they make sales, the book is divided into columns. There is a date, there is particulars, there is amount. So when the date of the sales, they make sales, they record it, and then they record who came to buy from them and what the person bought from them. Then they record the amount. They also have another book for purchases. When they go out to acquire stock, they write the date and they write the different stock that they purchase. If, for instance, they are into supermarket, tissue paper, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, bread, they record all of those things and then record the amount. So it means they are keeping it manually. Now, another form of manual bookkeeping, which many people don't know is manual, is also your Excel. Now, Excel is just a spreadsheet. It is not an accounting package software. Although, if you have people who are very, very, very good with Excel, they can do something that will become very close to a software, but it will still not be a proper software. So for that reason, Excel is still part of your manual bookkeeping method, which is far, far better, if you're going to ask me, than what's it called? Than your manual, your normal exercise books and all of that. And then you now have basic bookkeeping softwares, very basic ones like QuickBooks and like Sage Business Cloud Accounting, which is the type that we use. Suffice it to say that I think I should tell you a bit of myself as we make progress. I'm Anthony Bigila. I'm a qualified accountant. I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I've been in the business world for upward 20 years, more than 20 years now. I worked in several industries, starting with the capital market, stockbroking firms, trustee firms. I worked with also health and healthcare organizations, which we call HMO. I also worked in the oil and gas industry. I worked with ITO. ITO is an oil and gas industry somewhere based in Papa, and I finally left paid employment 2020 when I ended up with MRS Oil Nigeria PLC, where I was in the management cadre for upward of 8 years thereabout, before I came out of there to start this business of providing bookkeeping and accounting solutions to micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. So it is this mode, method of bookkeeping. Let me go back to my earlier slide. I said that what I regarded as supporting documents All this one I call bills, receipts, invoices, purchase orders, inventory system. Most times, when it comes to the method of software like QuickBooks and Sage Business Cloud Accounting, all of these things, they form part of that software. So you have the software that can issue you receipt, that can issue purchase order, have inventory system and all of that in place as part of the bookkeeping system. Now, this is very important. So what are the benefits of bookkeeping? What is the relevance of bookkeeping? What is the importance of bookkeeping? The first benefit is that because of the way, for instance, when data comes in, how we are going to structure it for you, is that bookkeeping helps you to separate business finance from personal finance. This is the greatest undoing of many micro and small business enterprises. The inability, the failure to be able to separate their own monies, their personal money from business money.
Okay, the connect plus.
Hello? Okay, so you see business owners running their business. They want to buy a meat pie. It's from the business money. They want to procure equipment. It's from the business. So there is so much intermingling. They can't differentiate between what is their business money and what is their own personal funds. And even when sometimes some of them, they know this thing is not right, they try to correct it, they just lack that discipline. And the reason why they lack the discipline because they have not been able to put a proper bookkeeping system in place. So when you are going to put a bookkeeping system in place going forward, it will help you to be able to separate your personal finance from business finance. Any business where personal finance and business finance are intermingled, that business can never grow. It's not a cost, it's a fact. Now, number two benefit of bookkeeping is that you are able to document, your financial transactions. So you avoid guesswork. You avoid guesswork. Sometimes I stay with a client and they will be, I'll be asking questions. So what is this? What is this amount of money? Then they will be thinking, they will look at it this way. Look at it, that is from their bank statement too. But the bank couldn't, maybe as at the time they were transferring the money, they couldn't properly describe in the bank statement what had happened. Sometimes it's not even in the bank statement. It's just written in a have you seen a notepad before? They just wrote something on a notepad and they have different notepads scattered everywhere. And you see them bringing it together and they'll be looking at it, trying to remember. Okay, this was when I went, you see 32,000 naira. Okay, this was when I went to, okay, no. And I gave the money to the driver. I said the driver should come back with a change of 50 or 15 of 1,000 naira. When he brought it, what did I now do? They can't remember. So it prevents guesswork. In business transaction. It prevents guesswork. It's one of the major ways to track business progress. You can't know how much progress your business is making if you cannot have records you can fall back to and say, okay, how much sales did I make in the last 1 week? How much sales have I made in the last 2 weeks? Who is the highest seller? The person I've sold to on credit, how much has the person paid back? Is he still owing me? How much is he owing? Oh, he's being, sometimes I'm with the MD of a particular company, and it is after about 3 months, it will get to his attention that somebody who has been owing that's supposed to have paid a month ago is still owing 3 months after because they don't have proper record. Somebody just remember that, we have not collected our money from this guy because the sales is much. You see, I'm talking about two. The examples I've made now is with 3 different MDs that we have dealt with, and that is what we see over and over again. When properly organized, it makes filing of tax very simple and easy. A lot of people now, sometimes the tax authorities just barging upon them because now they have several ways of trying to locate you as a business. It's very difficult to hide these days. The FIRS particularly has several ways. The FIRS, yes, has several ways of locating businessmen. So and then when they come, they just bring you one ridiculous bill, and because you have not been filing, you don't have records to fall back. You don't know what you are going to pay as company income tax because you don't even have the records to show. You don't know what you are going to pay as VAT because you don't have the records of all your sales and records of all your purchases. Even when you paid your own VAT, you don't have the records. I mean, a client was slammed a ridiculous amount of money, very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. I'm talking about up to 1 billion naira that he was supposed to go and pay. And he was saying that no, he couldn't have been owing up to that in terms of VAT remittance. And it's okay, bring evidences. That was where the problem is. He couldn't bring. He couldn't bring. It was with much begging, much pleading, much reconciliation, and trying to go back to the books and trying to go back to bank statements, trying to go back to what is on ground, a lot of guesswork, a lot of trying to just work out something to plead bargain. And eventually from 1 billion, we came to about 100 and something, 100 million naira that he has to pay, even though he has been paying some form of VAT, right? But because he didn't have, he was just doing the VAT based on guesswork. When the authorities came and they slammed him, he had no choice but to plead and beg. And even that 100 million naira is not a small amount of money when you compare it to his business, but it's being forced to pay and he's paying it gradually. But if you have your records in place, when the tax authority comes, you just show them, these are my sales, these are my purchases, make your normal deductions and let me know, and this is my VAT. What about payee? People have if you have more than 5 people, in fact, anybody you have in your organization that you have employed, you're supposed to pay payee on that person. So what else does it do? A business that keeps proper records will find it easier to access loans and funds. Loans and funds. Sometimes businesses, they just say that this my business has so much potential. If only I can get more money. If only I can get more money. Now, some banks may readily use your bank statement. If you do have one and you route all your transactions through your bank statement, they can look at your bank statement and, okay, based on how voluminous and the liquidity of your business, they can maybe grant you some kind of loans to some extent based on your inflows and outflows. But most banks will not look at your inflows and outflows alone. They want to see your management account. They want to see your audited financial statements. They want to see how you have been able to manage your books. Do you even have books at all? So if you don't have books, you find out that you will not have funds. Sometimes some of us also, we have friends, we have colleagues, we have people that we can approach, people that we have access to for loans, and they may want to even, okay, I don't have anything to do, I don't have this money I don't want to use this money yet. 100 million naira, 10 million naira, 11 million naira is available. If you want to use it, but let me see your records, and that's where there will not be a problem. You can present proper bookkeeping records to people that can bring in money into the business. Sometimes I've had cause to discuss with school owners, school owners forum, and a lot of times they tell you that they have people want to put money into their school, but those people are afraid. And of course, those are wise investors. They're afraid because you can't even show them anything. You don't have records of school fees generated over a period of time. They can't see the progress of cash flow. They don't know whether the business is growing. They don't know how much students are owing you. And so they find it very difficult to invest money into your business. So this is the reason why you should have a proper bookkeeping, in place for your business. The business owner will be able to know the what, status and position of the business at every point in time. A lot of people don't even know the net worth of their business. You should know. You should not be a business owner and you cannot say that this my business is now, I've done it for 10 years and it's now worth 20 million naira. I've done it for 15 years, it's not worth 15 million naira. I've done it for 3 years, it's now worth 3 million naira. It's only bookkeeping, a proper bookkeeping in place that can make you know the worth of your business. One school owner approached me, and we wanted to do what we call, because part of the first thing that we do, and you still see it down the slide, is that when you don't have any kind of bookkeeping in place at all, or even when you do have some kind of bookkeeping in place, but you don't have a proper management account over the years, the first thing we do is to do for you what is called a statement of affairs. The idea about statement of affairs is to bring you to speed with the net worth, the value of your business. This is your business. How much is it worth? That's the first thing we'll try to do with any business. We'll try to implement bookkeeping with. So we'll come in and we'll quickly set that up so that you can know the worth of your business at a glance. So that if investors are interested, my earlier point, I was talking about assessing loans, assessing funds. If investors are interested, they can, first of all, they want to know, this business, you want me to bring 10 million to your business. I need to know how much it is worth, because they will not want to bring in their funds if the business is, if they're looking at a business that is just about 3 million naira worth, and then you're asking them to bring in 100 million. They wonder, what are you going to do with 100 million when your business is just 3 million naira worth? So you need to show them the worth of your business. So bookkeeping will help you, to really know how much your business is worth at every point in time. It makes it easier for your business to run independent of you. It can bequeath a legacy. It can become a legacy that you can bequeath to others. Well, this is not a particularly popular thing with Africans. We run our business in such a way that it is always hovering around us. Without us, the business cannot survive. When we sneeze, the business sneezes. When we are down, the business is down. When we are not around, the business also goes on vacation. So the business is just around us. We are unable to build a legacy to bequeath to even our children. That's why many businesses in Africa, once the owners die, the business also dies, because there is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing that you can say, okay, let me pick it up from here and run with it, because they don't have any books. So the business, that everything is in the owner's head. He's the only one who knows how much, those who are owing him and how much they are owing. He's the only one who knows those who he is owing and how much he's owing all of them. He's the only one who knows where he gets his supply. He's the only one who knows he's the only one who knows everything and anything. Everything is shrouded in secrecy. Nobody must know anything. So the people who are around him are just following him. They don't know anything about it. They don't know nothing. So the business is just in darkness, no light at all. Because the light that should people can see to be able to come to that light and run with that business is bookkeeping. And once the bookkeeping is not there, the business is in darkness. Is there? There's no light. So once the owner of that business is not around, nobody knows what else to do, because the darkness will simply just becloud everyone. You're able to take informed decisions. Oh, this is so important. This is so important. And I said here, I said it earlier, let me say it again. Your business has a voice. It talks to you through your numbers. Your business is generating numbers every day, whether you are aware of it or not. Your business is generating numbers. Numbers talk. It's all about the numbers. Any business you are doing, at the end of the day, it boils down to numbers. What are the numbers saying to you? So if your business has no number, it has no voice. And if it has no voice, you won't know when it is sick. You won't know when it is healthy. You won't know which area you need to work on. You won't know what you need to do. So you won't be able to take informed decisions for the business. You may end up doing the same thing and be getting the same result. So you won't be able to know whether you are making progress or you're not making progress. Every business speaks through the organized bookkeeping structure that business has in place. So as an accountant, when I come into your business and you're able to show me proper accounting records that you have kept for that business, I can begin to relay the voice, interpret the voice of your business to you. and say, oh, based on the numbers that I'm seeing here, this is what your business is saying. So based on what your business is saying, you do to now say, okay, if he's telling me that I should do, if he's telling me that what has happened is that we are on this level, then it means that for me to get to this level, to me to get to the next level, I will look at 5 years of my sales, 5 years of my purchases, and be able to make projections into the future. Every business speaks. You can only hear the voice very clearly when you have proper bookkeeping system in place. I believe I'm still doing well with time. So helps you to put proper controls in place, making compliance issues easier. Like the woman I told you, you know, he's with the staff, he's with them. This is a supermarket somewhere on the Aja axis, Lekki Aja axis. He resumes with the staff, he stays with them, he talks with them, he jokes with them, he laughs with them, but gradually the staff taking a little here today, a little there today, a little here today, a little. Sometimes they'll be because the supermarket, and sometimes they have, you know, edible products that they can take. You will see them even taking the edible products, thinking that it is something they bought from somewhere or whatever, not knowing that gradually, as he's smiling with his staff, as he's laughing with his staff, the staff are undoing her little by little. They are collecting salaries and also collecting their own shopping for free every day on her own goods, right in her presence, and she does not know why. No record to show what is the inventory saying today. You don't take inventory at the beginning of the year to compare your sales, to compare your purchases, and check back at check inventory at the beginning of the month, compare the sales you made during the month, compare purchases that you added during the month, deduct the goods that are remaining at the end of the month, and check, is it reconciling? Is it looking like it? You don't have such records. You don't have such records. Another woman that I saw, that, you know, one of the places that we worked, I can talk freely like this because I'm not disclosing not even their either their names or their identity. So you just see that when you're with them, the way they manage their books, you just say, wow, this is unbelievable. So if you don't manage your books very well, you won't be able to have proper control. It is bookkeeping that will make you know, okay, I have to put control in this place, I have to put control in this place. Nobody must step here, nobody must be there, somebody must be here. When I finish at the end of the year, every day you must balance off for me. Let me know what we sold, let me know the stock remaining, let me know purchases. Bookkeeping helps you to put controls in place. So how do I start? How do you start bookkeeping for your business? This is very important. Number one, be determined. As the owner of the business, everything, you are a very strong factor when it comes to proper bookkeeping for that business. If you don't say yes to bookkeeping, no matter how a consultant tries to persuade you, like a consultant like me tries to persuade you, no matter how your staff try to persuade you, no matter what anybody tries to say, if you don't realize and make up your mind and make a commitment and be determined and appreciate the importance, the relevance, the advantages, the benefits of bookkeeping, and you commit yourself to it, it will never fly. It will never fly. So sometimes as consultants, when we come, we're talking to business owners, we just advise, we just counsel. There is nothing we can do other than that. Nothing we can do. You know, sometimes some of them you tell them, look, for us to be able to know, to even begin to move forward, this is your business. Like there is a bookstore that we are managing now. I've been telling them, let us first of all, at this point in time, you have run this book for 10 years. You say you have not made profit for 1 year. How can you make profit when you don't even know the position of the business? You don't even know the network of the business. You don't know to start with. Okay, let us start with organizing your books for you such a way. You know, yeah, don't worry, we'll do it. So I can see there is no commitment. And for as long as there's no commitment, it's the same story. I've known that client for 2 years upwards now. It has been the same story. We are not making money. We are not making money. We are not making money because we are not committed to proper bookkeeping. Separate your business from yourself by registering with CAC. This is so we can't even begin to argue about this or put it on the table for discussion or debate it. If you want to take your business to the next level, we are in 2022. Every organization that wants to be taken seriously must have a legal perspective to itself. People must perceive you as somebody who is serious. So the least you can do, at least, is to register a business name. That is the very, very least you can do. If you don't have that, and they say, sometimes they say, okay, by the time they begin to relate with you, and they say, okay, give me some documents, give me evidence, and you say, oh, you say that the business is still in your name, Anthony Bigila. That's all. Everything about the business is just you, Anthony. No. Nobody wants to deal with that kind of organization anymore. So for us, for you to be able to take the next step for when it comes to bookkeeping, one of the first thing you do to separate your business from yourself is to make sure you register with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And I think our man from SMEDAN alluded to this seriously yesterday. So if it's not a limited liability company, at least have a business name. Very important. Then open. When you have that, you can now be enabled to open. Now all this about separating the business finance from your own finance, separating the business from you. When you register with CAC, it will now enable you to open an account in the name of that legal entity, whether a business registration, a name registration, business registration, or a limited liability company. Then decide on how you want to do it. Now, let me explain this a little bit. Say, do it yourself. So we can come in, train you. We can, if you want to be so manual, which we don't encourage, you want to just do it manually, you want to have books, and just exercise books and all of that for your business, fine. We can come in, show you one or two things and put the structure in place for you. So at the end of every month, we come in, we collate what you have documented in the come as professionals, and we engage you along those lines. So we train you. Am I good?
Yes, you are.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
We train you, we ensure that you're properly trained. So you do it yourself. Otherwise, we put a system in place that can make us accumulate your business transactions, and then we have a software that will now run for you to ensure that your business are put within that software so that we can run your business professionally. You have proper bookkeeping where you can easily bring in information, easily retrieve information, and you do your normal tasks of invoicing your customers, of sending reports to your customers. Sometimes some businesses, all that they want is just they just want to be sending invoices to customers. Maybe businesses like that, just come in and be sending. I want just put the same in place that can help you to be sending invoices to customers. So we can do that for you professionally. Then we say select which mode you want to use, either manual or bookkeeping software or both. Yes, so we can do both. Sometimes for most of our clients, we do both. We have a manual system in place, and then we have a bookkeeping software in place. The manual will train one or two of their staff to do that manual for us, so that at the end of the day, like I said earlier, at the end of the month, we come in and then we use those manual documentations to now bring the activities of the business into the software, and then we show you one or two manipulations you can do to retrieve information. You want to know some expenses on transport, you want to know expenses on rent, you want to know expenses on diesel transportation. So all of those ones we can show you. So after all of this, you start recording into your books, be it manual or software. Relevant categorization of business transactions in bookkeeping. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whatever transaction you engage in for your business, they will fall into one of these 5 categories. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter when it is done. It doesn't matter how it is done. So far, it's a financial transaction that you incurred in the course of running your business, it will eventually fall into any of these 5 categories. Number 1, assets. Number 2, liabilities. Number 3, it may fall into equity. Number 4, revenue. And number 5, expenses. Now, these are the things that forms the bookkeeping proper. The bookkeeping proper. So if you incur a financial transaction, it may be that you incur it to acquire an asset. In other words, maybe your business is into bakery and you have cost to buy more pans. That pans is an equipment, it's an asset. So you have an asset. So the company owns that asset, right? So that expense or that amount of money you have spent in incurring the equipment of pans or a new baking mixing machine, that money you incur in doing that will be categorized as part of your assets. Number 2, liabilities. Liabilities is money that you are owing people. You needed money, you approach a bank. You approach a bank and say, I need to buy another mixing machine because my business is now expanding. Therefore, borrow me 2 million naira, for example. You approach a bank or a microfinance bank. So when they give you that money, or it could be an individual, somebody who trusts you, who believes in you, who has seen you make some progress over time. So that person gives you that money. It means your business is owing that person that amount of money. It could be equity. Equity means when you bring in your own money, okay, this money will lead me, Tony Bigila, into my business, Hand Data Solutions Limited. When that money leaves me, the idea is that I'm using it as part of my capital to expand my services to my customers. So that is under equity. So now revenue will mean, what are you selling? For instance, for me, I sell services. When I come into your business and I consult for you and you give me money, it's a revenue to me. And then when you are selling bread, when you are a baker and you sell bread, that bread you sell, people give you money, it's revenue to you. Then lastly, expenses. You spend money on diesel, to run diesel. You spend money on transportation. You spend money to pay for your rent. You spend money, all these ones are expenses. So these are the things that we organize, that are organized in bookkeeping. This is what we do. When we are keeping our books, we are doing any of these 5 things. So when we say we are recording, we are documenting financial day-to-day financial transactions of the business. We are doing any of these 5 at any point in time. We are either acquiring assets, we are either incurring liabilities, we are either shoring up our equity, we are either receiving revenue because we are selling to customers either a service or a product, or we are making expenses, salaries, rent, and all of that. Even when we also pay pensions on behalf of our staff, we're also incurring expenses, making progress. So the bookkeeping tax, what is the tax of bookkeeping? Now, we send invoices to customers and clients. Again, for softwares, for professional softwares like QuickBooks, we are not used to QuickBooks. We do more of Sage Business Cloud Accounting because I'm an advisor to Sage Business Cloud Accounting when it comes to that particular software. One of the basics called Sage Business Cloud Accounting. So we use it to send invoices. Sometimes you don't need to be cracking your brain, going to buy booklets in 2022 and be writing invoices. No, with that Sage, you just go to anyone who is approaching you to buy goods from you or get a service from you. You document it in, you send via email. The person's email is alerted, and so you have an invoice waiting for you. You check the invoice, you pay, because the invoice will include account details. You pay there, you send your account evidence, your debit evidences to the person, and hula la, we are done. Record all purchases from various suppliers. So again, the bookkeeping that we are providing when it comes to that software can also do this. Of course, we can also do all of this manually. Like I said, you can use Excel to do this. We can use your books, depending on what you want to do all of it. But we usually advise that the minimum you can do is Excel. But of course, our advice is that you use a software to run your bookkeeping. Record and categorize inventory. In addition, people have a lot of issues with inventory. Lots of issues with inventory. People don't know. There's a potential client we've been trying to pursue. He said he has so much inventory that he's even afraid that we might not be able to do the work. Say, what kind of a thing is this? Let us even see the volume of work first now. We've been chasing him for about 8 months now. He's just, he said the inventory is just too much. But the longer you delay, the more difficult you make it for yourself and for your business. So inventory is a very, very serious matter, because if you are losing your inventory, you are losing money. If you are losing money, you are losing your business. Inventory is so crucial in any business. You can't joke with it. You must put controls around inventory, because your inventory is like your blood, depending on the kind of business that you are running. We have, for example, a client in Computer Village here who sells phones, tablets, and their accessories. And a lot of times people mess up with the inventories, and it's becoming a big challenge for him. But when you put a proper bookkeeping structure in place, it reduces to the barest minimum all these kind of issues, because any system that has human beings in place, people will still try their best to beat it. Record all expenses and appropriate expense heads. So at the end of every month, you can know how much have I spent on transport, how much have I spent on. You can know where the expenses are, what is taking the last chunk of your money, the largest chunks of your money, and it can help you to now put controls in place. The way we spend this is too much. Come on. Okay, going forward, from normally we don't have customers coming between 8 and 10. The time we start seeing customers is when it is 10 o'clock. So between 8 and 10, we depend on PACN. If there's no PACN, we'll stay in darkness. So we begin to put controls. What's that? See, it means your business is talking to you. That's why I say your business has a voice. It's speaking. Because you don't have a proper bookkeeping records in place, you won't know what your business, you won't hear it, but it's talking to you. So if you put a structure in place where, for example, you can capture all the amount of money you spend on diesel. So at the end of the month, you check all your expenses, you rate them, you check for transport, you check for data, you check for airtime, you check for diesel, you check for fuel. You now find out that diesel is so high, and all the profits you would have made, it has gone on diesel. So you begin to look at that diesel, this diesel, what are you saying? Okay, so you begin to think, begin to make decisions. Okay, if we are spending so much in diesel, I need to cut down on diesel. How can I cut down on diesel? Okay, and I just give an example. Between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., we don't usually have a lot of customers. So that time we'll make do with PACN. I mean, depending on the kind of business you are running anyway, you may do with PACN. If there's PACN, we are fine. If there's no PACN, no way. We will wait until it is 10 o'clock before we now put on our generator. And then by 5 p.m., everybody close, or depending on how it is, 6 p.m., we close. No more overtime work, everybody goes home. So those are the things that your business will be saying to you, because you have a proper bookkeeping in place. Reconcile bank statements. Yes, sometimes some accounting software, the bookkeeping software that you have can help you to, sometimes people buy goods and they return it. You can also, capture this in your bookkeeping. Sometimes record damaged goods. You can also have damaged goods recorded. What are the useful bookkeeping reports? Yes, this is very important. You can know your profit or loss. Is your business making profit? Is your business making losses? It is bookkeeping that will show you, a proper one, that would, a professional accountant will help you to put in place so that you can get all the ramifications around whether you are making profit or loss. What about your cash flow? Because sometimes you need to know where your cash is, what part of your business is gulping all the cash. Is picking that will show you. Then we have balance sheets. Balance sheet will show you the status, the position of your business. If anybody wants to buy your business, what they'll be facing, looking at the most, is these two things: your balance sheet and also your profit and loss over the years. I think I'm almost there now. Yes, so we talked briefly about accounting. Like I said, the cross of this discussion is on bookkeeping. That's why we have spent so much time on bookkeeping. So in accounting, we are saying that what you have now kept in your books, you see, so it's like saying in a layman language, where bookkeeping stops is where accounting starts. So after we have recorded all we need to record, we have captured into all the 5 categorizations over the years. Liabilities. I think I'm almost there now. Can they pause this? Okay, your liabilities, your whatever. Then the accounting work now starts. That's where we come in as professional accountants. Accounting work now starts. We now begin to evaluate what you have recorded, classify what has been recorded in your books, analyze what has been recorded in your books, interpret it, summarize it, and put it in a report, in a way and manner that you can understand it, and then we can begin to use it to help you take further decisions on the operations of your business. But that is not for this class at all. Then this means the financial management means planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities of an organization. It means applying general management principles to financial resources of an organization. So what do we want to offer to you as Hand Data Solutions Limited? What are we offering you? We are offering you bookkeeping solutions. That is our main strength. What we do is bookkeeping. This ranges from invoicing to inventory management to financial reports. We provide a software by Sage, and I said we are certified Sage Business Cloud Accounting Advisor. So we use that Sage software, primarily Sage, to provide this solution to micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. And then, by extension, we do tax management. We manage your PE for you, we manage your CIT for you, and then we also manage your VAT for you. We also do payroll management. Sometimes some people don't want to have, sometimes you have more than 5 staff, you have more than 10 staff. You want to be assured that all of them, at the end of the month, they have a proper pay slip. They have their allowances. They have a letter that shows that that apportions the allowances into basic, into transport, into housing, into dressing, and all of that. And then you're able to every month remit both pensions and also payee. So we can also do payroll management for you. Then what we can also offer, in fact, this is the first thing we offer people, and we encourage people to take this. We can immediately help you value your business. We help you value your business by helping you to know the net worth of your business. That's the first thing we can come in to do for you. No thinking required. Of course, at a fee, So we come in immediately, we evaluate your business, and we help you to know, because this is something we found out that particularly schools, many schools always want, the ones we have spoken, we found out that you're always desirous to know what is the worth of their school, because they are always looking up to somebody, investing in them, because they feel that the schools have potentials, but they don't have records to show, for anybody to take any interest in them. So we can easily help you do that. Training, we can train you on our bookkeeping software. We can train you on any other accounting related matters that you want us to train you on. And also we perform annual audit exercises. Sometimes some clients are looking to approach somebody, or somebody wants to invest in you, and they're asking for your audited financial statements, where your go-to man. I am also a member of an accounting firm called OVJ and Co. So OVJ and Co. So I also take up audit exercises at a very affordable rate. Then the industries we have worked in, of course, we cannot mention the names of the companies directly, but these are the companies, the companies we have worked with, they play in this industry: home and office furniture, communication and gadgets, that is in Computer Village. The furniture person is around Adeniyi Jones. We have 2 bakeries we have worked on, one in Ikoyi, one at Yanapaja. Scented candles and perfumes, Lekki company. Car wash at Maryland. A supermarket, restaurant at Ikoyi, supermarket at Ikoyi, bookstore in Ikeja, poultry farm in Ondo State, training outfits in Yaba, and a naturopath clinic at Oba. These are the industries that we have played in over the last 2 years since we started. You can reach us. We are trying to rebrand, and that will also mean that so this website I put here is under construction. So in case you reconstruction, right, that we had a website before, but we're trying to make sure that we are more visible and more search engine optimization friendly. So we have this as our website that is already under construction at handdataaccounting.com.ng. www.handdataaccounting.com.ng is our website. But in case because I don't even encourage anybody to try it now because it's under construction. But you can easily reach us on Facebook, at Hand Data Solutions. / Hand Data Solutions. And of course, I'm very, very active on WhatsApp, and I encourage everybody that in case you want to reach out to us, this is where you can easily reach out to us. That's my number there. That's my WhatsApp number also. 0320164666. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you for listening. I believe I was able to do it within 45 minutes. Thank you.
Within 60 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That was
60
great.
minutes?
Yeah, it's 60 plus already. About,
no, I started to 12.
What while? Let's no problem, sir.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay, so actually you've answered it. You've answered the first question that we have there. Please it's asking, so we want the slide on the address on the phone number. The first question is talking about how do I become a trained, how to be trained. Basically is asking for how to be trained for bookkeeping. So I think that's the first question, and I know that a lot. So what I advise our people, our participants, is to try and get the contact. Please let people see the contacts.
Yeah, the contact again.
Just like yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So
yes.
So
please,
feel
free.
You can feel free to reach out to Hand Data, and trust me, you have good service. Okay, because of our time, I need to, but as this question, I just want to, I think I've answered this before. I've explained this to people. Well, okay, I think we have. So let me ask this again before I take other ones. So what happens if you have a business running and you did not keep receipts and you now want to fix your accounts? You have business running, you didn't keep receipts, and you now want to fix your account. What happens?
Okay, so if our first point of call would be to look at whether you run those transactions through either your personal account in the bank or you run it through a corporate account with the bank. So we ask for your bank statements. Where we don't have your bank statement, we now have to sit down with you. You see, we just have to make accounting sometimes all about estimations. We sit down with you and we try to assist you to remember as much as you possibly can, and whatever other evidence you can have around you and the things so we just try to do some kind of remembrance and use it as a basis. For the person that is playing in the home and office appliances, they're selling phones and all of that. We have to sit down with them and help them. Okay, this one I bought it for this amount. We just try them, just be as objective as possible, and then we use that as a basis to come up with a statement of affairs for your business. So it's doable. We just need you to be truthful to yourself, be objective as much as you can remember. Let us know. So we sit down with you. We either use your bank statement if you did anything through the bank, or we use that's your personal account, or you have a business account. We use that also to get as much information as possible.
Thank you, sir. Then the second question is, please, can the software be used on mobile phones?
Yes, yes. Sage Business Accounting is mobile friendly, so we can use it on mobile phone. It's mobile friendly.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, so like I said, the first question I just have answered it before I've explained it. Oh, thanks so much for this enlightenment class. I registered my business as a business name in 2018 and opened a business account, but I just learned that we have to pay an annual fee to the CAC. So it's now saying, please, how true is it? And I remember I did a video to explain the two different filing, because I discovered that so many small businesses in Nigeria, and it's one of the concern about our agencies, and it's painful that CAC is not coming out and they're not actually saying this to people. Many of our businesses in Nigeria don't know that they need to always, that there is annual filing.
An annual fees, final fees, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't know that.
They don't know. They're not aware. There's no sensitization going on.
Exactly. And the painful thing is that the agent that registered them, I don't know why, maybe because they don't want them to go. They don't tell them from the onset, and then once they give them certificate, they just say you have registered, and then they'll say this. The truth is that this ghost doesn't haunt every time. It haunts when you now need the help of CAC.
Exactly.
When you get that is, and what the accumulation is sometimes enormous. So it is true. They expect you that, I think, after the first 6 months or 1 year, 6 months, you begin to do annual filing. You need to always go to CAC, and it's now interesting now that with the processes, you can easily go, and you must know you can easily pay for filing and then the update and what have you. So it is true, they do that. You have to really know that, and our businesses should just understand. And I really want to beg all the agencies that one way or the other get their information. I keep saying it, I keep talking to, they should not always hide all this information. They should let people know from the beginning. In fact, one of the things that is aiding scamming in Nigeria is because the right people that have the information, they don't go how to tell the business people. You imagine someone will tell you that BOI is giving out grants, and say, how can BOI give out grants? And I mean, you see it on the website of XYZ dot. I mean, you see it online that SMEDAN loan. There's no SMEDAN loan. SMEDAN doesn't give loan. You hear funny things, and people rush to it. And if the agencies are coming out, I mean, so that people can be able to hear. Now, there's this lie grant that I see going on. I've been talking about this for the past 5 years now. That is a lie. How can a foreign person or organization want to give you grants in Nigeria, and is telling you that your government, is asking to pay money, and your government is not going to be aware? I mean, and they're asking you to open a microfinance bank. Microfinance bank that is going to, in a grant, and you are hoping microfinance, is microfinance done green free? So people need to understand all these things. I believe we'll be talking more and more about that. So thank you so very much for your time, and then I believe people can easily always follow up. So without wasting time, I want us to bring in.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, sir. I know the conversation continue. People are going to, when you have the trade, people are going to follow up, and we make sure we follow up. So we have right from South Africa with us, my very good friend Antonio London, I always say the young man doing excellent things. I mean, when you hear Africa, some people are behind that. So today we'll be hosting. We have him in the house with us. See, I like I said, it's back to back. I'm happy for the people that are here, and because you are really going to really you have bulk to take home. So we'll be bringing on Anthony London. Is in the studio with us. So he will taking the floor, right, immediately. As we've introduced him, is head of tech development in the AfCFTA, the telecommunication company. So it's going to do justice on the African identity and why we should be proud of this, and how do we brand the identity, the African identity, because the truth, like I told us yesterday, the wealth is in Africa, the global wealth is in Africa. If not so, the other countries will not be running to Nigeria, running to Africa. The global wealth is here. It's time for us to discover this. It's time for us to do the quality branding. And trust me, we're together. Thank you, Antonio.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Mr. Blessed, just change the slides, please. Thank you for your introduction today, Blessed. It has also been a pleasure coming on to the Empower Africa group and seeing what you guys are doing. It really empowers me as a migrant. That's what I like to call myself, because I'm an African from the West, following the words of Marcus Garvey, who said, "The black man will never achieve true wealth until he returns to Africa." And I'm happy and really inspired by the work of Empower Africa, and even the idea that right now the app that we're using to present this meeting is built and developed by my brothers in Nigeria. It feels, I already feel empowered by having that little thing. So as Blessed said, I am the head of business and technology development for AF Proxy Services. AF Proxy Services is an ICANN accredited registrar based in Mauritius with offices in South Africa as well. I'm currently in the South Africa office. And we are ICANN accredited. This means that we have the permission from the highest authority when it comes to domains and domain registration and IP address registration to provision and service the industry. We've been around for a few years, but we are now working to build the traction and notoriety around our brand identity, which is .Africa, which is what we're primarily promoting. Because we've seen that there's been a gap, a significant gap when it comes to how Africans understand the domain space. We see the domain space every day. We use websites, we buy domains, we buy IP addresses, and a lot of us, and I'm even speaking for myself, because before getting into AF Proxy, I was a software engineer for a decade before, and I didn't have the understanding I do now of the industry. And this is somebody who worked specifically in technology, which shows the major gap that is there when it comes to how we as Africans particularly understand the domain space, the place that all our business today lives. Now, today, we're going to talk to why, first of all, AF Proxy came about. So we came about to, as I mentioned previously, to serve that need, to domain the on-domain, because we realized that not only did we not know, or Africans don't know about the space, there's also a significant economic value around that industry that we have not capitalized on due to our ignorance. So AF Proxy came in to be that bridge that helps the normal businesses and small man value the domain industry or get value from the domain industry. So today we'll be talking about these things. We'll be looking at how it works, who ICANN is, and understanding the space in general. As I mentioned, we AF Proxy are governed by ICANN. Now, who's ICANN? None of us, I didn't know who these people were before I came into this organization and the important role that they have on our businesses online. Now, ICANN is, for lack of a better word, the guardians of the internet. They serve to protect us and regulate all the activities online. So this means that every single domain name on earth and IP address is managed by this agency. They are directly related to DARPA, which was the first internet network and who still holds the fame of creating what we now know as the internet. ICANN regulates these domains and IP addresses through a system of registries or registry operators that they license geographically to manage these countries and areas. So for example, in South Africa, it's managed by ZARC, which is our designated ICANN registry operator. ZARC oversees all the administrative qualms of your domain issues. So this is from if you have a domain abuse report, and a domain abuse report is a report on a domain that comes to the registrar operator if the domain was used illicitly or suspiciously. They manage and monitor these things. If as a business person, you have an issue with someone stole your domain, you give it to a developer and the developer said that this is my domain now. The registry operator assists businesses to fix those things because the domain is the most important thing that we have today as a business. It is our identity online. It's the address to our house that we are found at. And sometimes these addresses are stolen or infringed on, and our local registry operators help us to do this. In Nigeria, you're managed by NIRA, who is your domain authority registrar operator, and they have been licensed by ICANN to serve in that area and jurisdiction. So other than ICANN, NIRA is the next most senior authority for all .ng domains. So no matter where you buy your domain from, the final authority to manage that domain is the registry, because the registry is the sole regulator for your domains. So if you buy a domain from GoDaddy, if you buy a domain from Namecheap, from any place that you buy a domain, they are not selling you that domain, they are leasing you that domain. And they're leasing you that domain through the registry operator, because every single person who sells domains online has to go through one of these registry operators. Okay? What is a domain name? What exactly is a domain name? We use them every day. Everyone here has interacted with a domain name, but we don't understand what domain names really are. These are unique endpoints on the internet for us. Now, a domain name necessarily isn't always something straightforward. A domain name has different extensions. It has different GTLDs or TLDs, what we like to call them in the industry. But it is the most vital part of today's infrastructure online, because without this, we are not found. There's no way to find you. There's no way to find your business online. That's why choosing the correct domain name could make or break your business. Because when we're looking at a domain name, what are the things that we think about? How do we look at a domain name? How do we interpret a domain name? And how do we think about useful domain names for our business? One of the biggest mistakes that we make when we start businesses is that we don't think holistically about how we're going to be represented online. Most people, when they start their business, especially people who do services or people who make craft, they're constantly just thinking about, oh, I have to sell to this customer down the street, or my customers are going to come to me. I'm going to use the traditional ways of marketing to get access. These ways are fine and also important to look at. But in today's society, one of the key roles that you have to address when you start your business is your online representation. You have to be able to be found, and you have to be able to be found easily. And this all comes down to choosing and making use of effective domain names. This is where we learned about premium domain name. Premium domain names are shorter names, names that have 3 to 4 letters. Then once we learn about premium names, you learn about how to secure your premium name at a decent price, because one thing you learn as you get more into domain name is that there is a whole pricing tier and cost aspect that comes to it that most people don't understand and don't know how to use. Because I've had so many people tell me that, hey, I bought this domain name so long ago, but I feel like it doesn't represent my business well. But I have so many people here already. How do I get a new name? How do you get that old name, the people who know the old name, to come to a new name? In the previous presentation, the presenter talked about rebranding the business. This is a common thing that happens today. But the impact of rebranding a business today is that you risk losing the previous followers you had on that domain that you already had established. So knowing how the domain industry works and how to maximize the use of multiple extensions will help you to keep all your users engaged across the domains, from your old ones to your new one. So it means that if you had an old domain and you have a new site and you have a new address that you want people to use, you can use a redirect. You can have multiple name servers. There's quite a few ways to take advantage of multiple addresses online. These are the things that people and businesses constantly miss. Now, our domain name, as I pointed out, is not just one thing. And a lot of us don't know about the parts of a domain name. Now, domain names are made up of a protocol, the name, and then the extension. And put together, that becomes a URL. Now, we need to understand what this is, because when we've been saying domain name, domain name, domain name, but what is a domain name? A domain name is essentially the whole URL. The name is just that section between the extension and the protocol. That's the custom name of your business. Everything else after that is an extension, and before that, it's either a protocol or a subdirectory. So that name that we point out, the name, that's the name that defines your business. So that example, that name is going to be what's most important. So when you're starting a business, the first thing you focus is in that name. You get a name that is easy to remember, first of all, easy to type, and most importantly, not profane or offensive. Because you would be surprised how many people don't think through the depth of their name, because names sometimes translate differently to different people. So a domain name has an extension, and an extension helps people to understand, just like with a phone call system. Like we all know of the extension system. When you call a company, it says press 1 to speak to accounting, press 2 to speak to development. For domains, we have the same ability to use multiple extensions to speak to certain areas of our business. So it allows us to diversify our business online with the same name, but different extensions, allowing us to better guide users to exactly what we want them to see or guide a specific group of users. So, for example, there's GTLDs and CCTLDs. GTLDs are referred to as generic top-level domains, and CCTLD are country code top-level domains. Now, what's the difference between these two? CCTLD, not muted. Handback solution. Thank you. Yes. As I said, GTLDs versus CCTLDs, these two are sometimes one and the same but very different. Now, a GTLD is the .coms, the .nets. These are generic. It means that there's no special nature to them. Anyone could use them, and they're not associated with any particular group or any particular service. They're just a generic name. Okay? You just slap it on whatever, because .com is the most generic of all of them. You just slap it on whatever. Okay? Then we have CCTLDs. Now, CCTLDs, these are the codes or the domains that represent a country or a continent or a province. These are the domain names, these are extensions that you use when you want to get better SEO optimization for localized use. So this means if you have a business and you have a GTLD and your focus for business is Africa or Nigeria, it is less likely that you will be properly indexed with Google, because what Google does when it comes to outside of your metadata, the data that you put into your actual website, outside of your metadata, one of the most insightful indexing features for Google is your domain or your domain extensions. These domain extensions help Google to identify who wants to see your content. So for a lot of people who have .coms and wonder why their website isn't getting visibility that they need, and they're serving a local community. And I know in Nigeria, this is a big thing because of the cost of the .ng extension. We find that a lot of Nigerian businesses use the .com as an alternative. And this messes up their SEO chances, because now their business is confused on Google. There's no clear direction to who these people are. When me, as a business, as a user, go to this site, I would not be encouraged or be confident if I don't know where they are. So for example, I asked a question in the last presentation about not having receipts. That was my question, by the way. And let's say hypothetically, and I did actually do this, before this, I was looking for companies in Africa that does accounting. I only found companies that were in South Africa that had a .co.za name, and I found another one in Nairobi and Namibia. And do you know why I found those versus not finding hand data? It is because those companies use CCTLDs that properly identify them. So when me come to type in Google, accounting help for small business, Google already knows to identify and group these businesses based on the CCTLDs, because this is the first thing that Google sees. The first line of indexing for you as a business, your website, from a technical level, is your domain name. That's the first thing that Google sees. Once Google sees your domain name, then it processes all the automated metadata that comes on your link. So using the correct GTLD could boost integrity with your customers, because having a GTLD that properly represents you or a CCTLD properly represents you makes your product look more secure. It makes your product look more viable, because we as humans have a very associative mentality. We see a lot and we consider good. So this means that if a user goes to example.africa or handdata.africa, handdata.ng, handdata.com, and all comes to handdata, it's like, oh, this is a big boy. This boy got the net internet controlled. It shows that type of notoriety to your customers. It gives them the confidence to know that you can be found. And I think as Africans, we all share that sentiment of when we give you your money, we want to know where to find you. Okay? And this is the equivalent of knowing where to be found, having multiple extensions represent your business. That's the equivalent of being able to be found. And that creates trust in the business circle. Then it's localization. Hand data, and I'm happy that he presented so I could use him as a live example, because these are the business. This is what we're here for. We're here to talk about the businesses around us and how, as a continent, we can work together. And a good example here is localization. Now, one of the things that hand data would need is localization. But does he need localization only to Nigeria? No, he does not, because he serves the continent of Africa. But his information would not be as valuable or as accessible if he only uses .ng, because there's millions of Nigerians in the diaspora that have businesses in Nigeria, that do businesses online every day. And the only way they'll find your business is if they specifically mention something about your business, if they're searching from the UK. But chances are, if they search best accountants for my business from the UK, they'll get a bunch of UK-based accountants or accountants that have the generic TLDs that don't properly represent their interests. But a properly set up CCTLD helps you to alleviate this by giving you the ability to have stronger SEO. Because with a stronger SEO presence, your business significantly gains traction online and significantly gains trust. And with Google's new protocols with their SEO, they're even going to be paying more attention to these nuances of your business. So having a correct domain name to start, an extension, then having the correct metadata, and then having accurate and trustworthy representation when it comes to what you do is also important. So these are all important factors that we as businesses don't pay attention to with our domain name. And we miss that because it seems to be such an insignificant thing that has been kind of glazed over by everyone, because I'm pretty sure at some point, almost every one of my I'm confident that all of my colleagues here who are presenting with me today have bought the domain, and they've never thought in such depth of how the domain affects their business. Now, when we talk about our domains, it's hard not to take a look at where we are as a continent, and especially Nigeria, as one of the largest ICTs and SMEs economies on the continent. I think Nigeria sets a proper measuring stick to show us the direction or the trajectory of the continent. Because in 2021, the Nigerian economy grew by 3.6%. And this is up. In 2022, it grew by 3.6%. And this is an improvement from 1.8 in 2021. What does this say? This says more businesses are coming on board. More people are starting to do business. Now, are they doing business the right way? That's the question. Are they reaching and maximizing the use of the technology that's available to them? That's another question. Because if we look at this next stat, we can see that as of August 2022, there were over 180,000 active .ng domain names in existence. But that's compared to a total of over 214 million Nigerians. Now think about that, guys. There's 180 .ng names and over 214 million people. It has also been shown that there's over 50% of these people are using the internet. More than 50% of Nigerians live in urban cities. This means that over 109 million people have access to the internet. This means that over 109 people every single day go to a website or use an app to do business and or seek entertainment online. How are Africans capitalizing on this? How is your business capitalizing on this? How is your business making use of this flourishing market when it comes to the amount of usage and the constant rise in usage? When we look at our domain statistics overall, when it comes to how we're represented, there's only 11 accredited African registries. There's 52 countries on the continent, guys. There's 52 countries, 55, right? To be exact. Yeah. There's over 50 countries on our continent here. And only 11 accredited registrars. For the .Africa brand, the brand that represents us, 54, I just had the correct number of countries on the continent. I knew it was around 50 something, sorry for that. And only 11 accredited registrars. And isn't that a shame? Over 1 billion people. Over 1 billion people. There's over 500 million registered websites online. 500 million. And we are nowhere represented as Africans in this space. As Africans, we have been marginalized and segregated in every other way. The media has used Africa as a laughing stock. The media has framed and represented Africa in a negative light. But these media representations have tended to overlook the diversity of our political and social economy experiences across the continent. And this has led us to be lumped in to all of the negative stereotype that the world has to talk. Why can't Africa use the same narrative on a positive level? If we're lumped together as Africans with all the negative things that happen, it's time for us to come together as a 55 nation power to use this one size fits all mentality to our advantage by having one Africa that represents our business and our organizational unity online. So people can understand that Africans are coming together and this is our space. I like to call Africa the last frontier. I call it the last frontier because over decades, America has been conquered, Europe has been conquered and exploited by their people. They've exploited and they've advanced technically. But Africa, we're still behind. We are still yet to have our industrial revolution. So currently, we are in the .Africa stage. And I say .Africa because I don't want to say .com boom. We're the .Africa boom because African ICT space is growing rapidly. We see significant growth across the countries. And today, we are looking to even more so grow that identity by bringing all our businesses into a place where we're identified properly and identified as Africans. In recent times, it has been seen that the market has started to reflect what being African is. In 2019, we all were around for the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement that further pivoted how people look at us. Now everybody started to focus on and see how marginalized we were, how disrespected we were. Now everybody wants to show solidarity with Africa. So this means that there's a lot of brands and a lot of people coming to us to see how they can be part of the new revelation, the new Africa, the new identity that is being carved out, the Africa that is not ignorant, the Africa that is not savages, the Africans that don't need a handout. Companies like the History Channel has realized that and adopted that Africa to reflect that they stand with Africa. More businesses in South Africa especially have adopted this. Facebook has adopted a .Africa brand. Absa Bank, which is one of the largest banks in South Africa, has adopted this because coming together as one identity is a significant part of our development. The .com era was such a huge move for America because it was a singular movement across the country, not per state. Because Africa compared to the United States of America when it comes to geography and political setup is quite different. But what is the same, however, is that we are on the same continent. America has states, we have countries. And when the .com era happened, you didn't hear that it happened only in California. It happened across America. California was the hub, as is Nigeria and South Africa for our continent. But it still happened unanimously. And that is what we're trying to do for our brand Africa, for our continent Africa. Because this is ours. This is mine as much as it is yours. This continent is the place that birthed our forefathers. All of our forefathers in this call were birthed on this continent, but yet we're not represented in the world today well. So with .Africa, we can extend your current identity and bring your business to a place where you are identified as African by giving you your African identifier. Now, I know some people might be saying, oh, but I already have a website. I already have a domain name. That's fine. Keep your domain name. We're not here to replace what you have. We're not here to take over. We're here to complement. We're here to do things the African way. We were never colonizers. We were always sharers. A little history about Nigeria and the Niger region would tell you about the trade and the sharing that we did before slavery. We were always people who are inclusive. And that's what .Africa is. It's an inclusive identity that goes with every other extension that you have. So you can have a .ng and a .com, and you can have a .Africa as well too. Because the .Africa is your identifier. The .Africa tells people, yes, this guy knows where he's from. He understands the assignment. That is why I do not refer to .Africa as a domain name or domain extension. I refer to it as the African business identity. It is a domain for the undomained, the forgotten voices, the people like who developed the app that we're using today. This should be connect.africa, because that is what you are doing. You are connecting Africans. We need to move away from the Western ideas of technology and understand that we are at the point where we have control now. We can make statements. We can make changes as a group, as a continent, and as a people. So, somebody is not muted. Okay, so when it comes to our identifiers, I understand the problem. There's a problem because of price. We're Africans, and in understanding that too, we have thought about how we come to the market, because we understand that in Africa there's a cost to everything, and that cost is not the same for the people in the West. And we can see that the .ng names and the have the localized names that are available for our people or CCTL, these are very expensive. And we encourage you to get them if you can. We encourage all of our businesses to have a local name as well. Support your local registry. But if you can't afford a .Africa, or you can't afford to have your local name, have a .Africa name. Because .Africa reminds you and reminds us that you're African. And it serves to be a continental global identifier. And it bridges that gap for you. Because .Africa, as an extension, falls in the unique area of being both a GTLD and a CCTLD. Because it's generic, but it's also localized. It's a generic name for our continent. Now, if you want to get a .Africa name, just scan the code on the screen. I will take you to our website where you can quickly register and get your domain name, and you can get online today. If you already have a name, we can add this to your name portfolio by just giving us your name servers or the address that you want to redirect to, and your .Africa website is going to redirect to your main website. This is a vital thing because we need to have you connected. We need people to know that you are African. We need you to wave your identifier because there's strength in numbers. And the only way we will make a difference, the only way they will listen, is if we speak so loud they can't cover their ears. And we have been silenced. We've been silenced in many ways. And that Africa is one of the first and few ways we can raise our voice. So, to reach further, what we would like also to help you with is to understand how to use the internet well. Now, as I pointed out, a lot of businesses, when they start, they neglect to pay attention to their online identity. Because for them, the business is the product that they're developing, and that's it, right? That's where they think. But today we've learned that that's not it. Your business has to have multiple factors that goes to the success that are digital today. You have to know how to get, again, the first thing, the right name. The second thing, placement and understanding of SEO for that name. The third thing, proper placement of hooks, banners. I call hooks banners, things that bring people in. These are things that people constantly overlook digitally. So these are all ways that you could reach further. With more presence online, you have more activity. With more activity, you can get more customers, and it all builds towards a better Africa. Because when one business does better, it affects another and another and another. There's a residual line. We don't have to think about your decision to move to .Africa. It's a small thing. But guess what? The more people like you on this call, the people who are listening, the more people that listen to this message, the more people that remember the words of Marcus Garvey, the more people that realize the growth. If we go back to that chart with the numbers, we look at the dismal representation we have. Who's getting all that money for the domains? With over 500 something million domains registered, with just under 0.1% being African, where does that money go, guys? Who gets that money? Where do you think it goes? Not into the African economy, not into families in Africa, not into school fees for fathers and mothers in Africa. No, it doesn't. It goes off the continent because these are the people that control that money. And it may seem insignificant, but when we add up the value of the domain industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that Africans are not a part of. But we're consumers, though. We're consumers. So this is to stop that. Let's stop being consumers of things that don't benefit us. And know that when you buy a .Africa brand, you're supporting the growth of your continent, your children's future in a more technologically advanced Wakanda. because that's how I look at Africa. When I look at that movie, I see the future of Africa. Now, outside of our domains, at AF Proxy, we recognize too that there's a significant cost when it comes to hosting, because that's another challenge that a lot of businesses face. So we do offer hosting that all have been named after mountains in Africa, because again, we're keeping it home. We bringing everything back home. All right, so we have plans named after every mountain. Now, I'm not going to talk about hosting and all that, because you guys, if you want more information, you can go to our site, because I see that we're coming down some time. But know that we have domain packages available that also speaks and assists SMEs, because we understand it's expensive. It's expensive, and one of the ways that we kept out is economically. They use our economic positions to diversify and separate us. So we understand that, so we offer significant value for your money, and we offer support. So if you're interested, you can see at one of our hostings, and you can get hosting from us at a reasonable price. And hosting comes with great support, and you'll know that you're supporting Africa, because we're not just a company that just is here for profit. We're a company that's here for Africa. We're here to make sure that the people of this continent see the glory that they deserve. We are not asking for reparations. We're taking what's ours. So we also, just so you know, as another side thing, we also offer SSL builders, SSL certificates, and website builders on our site. But you can go to our site by the link in the on this slide, or you can scan that scan the QR code, and you can go to our site and you get more information. If you want more information, you want to have a conversation with me, you want to be more than just a user of .Africa, we also have a reseller program, an affiliate program, where you as normal people could come and profit from the rise of Africa. So with our affiliate program, you can join it and you can distribute our link, you can share our content, and then when people buy .Africa domains, you get a residual from that. Or you can become a reseller and promote and sell .Africa, and you'll get that at an even cheaper price once you become a reseller. But the goal here is, the bottom line is to get this out there, and we want you all to benefit from it. So if you're interested in more information about .Africa, if you're interested to know how you become a part, you can join this movement, because that's what it is. This is a movement. Spread the word. The Africa Rise movement is here. We are domaining the on-domain. This is Africa. Thank you guys for your time. I'll now open the floor to questions and comments.
Wow, thank you, Antonio. That was great. I'm proud of this continent of Africa. You can see our two websites is what? eaproject.africa and the businesshub.africa, because that has been my vision. That's been because it's about the African development, because about African discovery, that the internal discovery that we Africans to discover, but we need to discover ourselves. So that has been my vision, and that has been my idea. .Africa. Thank you so very much. So I can see for some of the questions. Let me. I think I'm seeing a comment here, and I want to respond to that comment. I had a .ng and no single say, so I stopped paying for it. Yeah, fine. So, and that's why I want to generally let us know this, that having website, it's not enough. It's not about I have websites though, so I got it all. And like he mentioned in the presentation, you have to move further into the social media, into the promotion, ads promotion, into good marketing. So the first thing is to secure identity and your presence online. So the second thing now is you start the dealing, the marketing. That brings it now. You have a quality product, you secure your presence online, then you move further to promote that your product, that your platform. So because, and this is a regular issue with the, I mean, on daily basis, I hear SME that we have some have websites and nothing is happening. No, there must be engagement on your website. There has to be engagement. And remember, yesterday I talked about Facebook Pixel. If you have a developer who develop a website for you, there's no Facebook Pixel, the job is not completed. You must have the reason why you have the website. There has to be sales, there has to be operation. So you have to move further into marketing. And again, that's why I talk about why we set up Business of Africa, and to be able to do some of those things for us. So I think we should be encouraged about that. And if you of course you have the contact, you can always we're always there. You can always ask questions, and then we able to extend however we can help. So, and you can go to, of course, in the Business of Africa, you see about the things we do. Then you can be able to take advantage. But you see, website is good. And interestingly, we have done something in Business of Africa that for small businesses, you plan for Nino. We have Nino, small business, medium. So for Nino businesses that are not that, they can't pay on their own for domain or whatever, we already have make an agreement of free subdomain. So you can have a free subdomain, and then we have a sizable hosting that you just pay for, and we design something good for you. You put your store online, so you can have, let's say your business is Malik, so you can have Malik.business.africa, and you are online with, and we have a standard operation, and you can start from there. So I think it's a good one. You can start from there before you now move to Malik.Africa, and that's a very good one. So because I know that many of us we've been here early, and but I want to believe that it's another wonderful session today. So in closing, I need to share something with us. I need to share something with us, which very, very important as we close. And what I want to share with us is keys. That is one of my interests that I want us to think about it and take advantage. When they talk about poverty, the truth is that I have known poverty. That's the truth. I can define poverty in any definition of it, in any pattern of it. It's one of the things that motivate me to keep at this project, to see to it that we are able to help ourselves. I have concern for our people, because the truth is that I have, in fact, I'll be sharing with us now my 10 definition of poverty. Now, for me to be able to have that definition is from experience, is on the things I've gone through. So, and I just think it's good I share them with us as we close, and let you think about it. I started a project, and the project is about mentorship. Call it Zero to Wealth Digital Billionaires Training and Mentorship Program. I started that program based on my personal experiences, based on how poverty has dealt with me. That's the truth. I've had serious experiences about poverty, and it's not palatable. The truth has to be told. Poverty is not friendly. poverty is not palatable, and I sincerely don't want anybody there. And that is why that's the only reason why I started that program. And of course, we have a session that will be rounding up, and then we'll be starting. Okay, in fact, very good. I'm reading some wonderful comments here. Let me start from please, what is multimillionaire industry? And then, well, it's up to you. Everything can be successful. Great, I like that. It's about your efforts. People have made trillions and millions by selling on it. I didn't say, okay. So, but the truth is this: digital is here for us, and I want us to maximize it. I want us to really maximize digital, and I want us to see to it that we don't just hear it. It's not that they are saying it, we heard it, and we join them to say it. We must have results from there. Please, this is important. Let me just see. I want to open a slide on a smart presentation that I want us to end today's session with.
And you know, listen, if I may add something to what you're saying, you know, you talk about poverty, and one of the things that also motivates me is poverty and debt. You know, because of poverty, I've lost people that are very close to me, and just having a little bit of money made the difference. And that also serves to remind me that there's millions of other people in my position who think that there's no way to become successful in this world, especially in technology, especially living in a village somewhere, because I come from a village that no one knows. The name of my village is Inverness, and it's in a country called Guyana, South America. No one knows this exists. The people around me all were either factory workers, nurses, or teachers. When I spoke of the dream of being an entrepreneur in technology, I was laughed at, because in our African communities, irrelevant of it in Africa or in the West, there's a general idea that an African must know his place. We have to be successful in only one of a few ways. We can be a doctor, a lawyer. You know, we are not encouraged to be risk takers, to be open to industry, because are not the only things that pay. Being a doctor, lawyer, engineer is not the only way to be profitable. What defines or what breaks poverty, in my opinion, is one's acceptance that anything is possible and only God could stop me. Because at the end of the day, when we look at the people around us, what sets us apart is the grit, the determination, and the attitude that we all have. So if people could take from the Empower Africa, which is why I like the name Empower, if people could take from that movement the empowerment of understanding their individual power, because at the end of the day, me, you, Samuel, hand data, we can try as much as we want to create. But my father used to say, take a horse to water, but you can't make that horse drink. So our people need to understand that even though your organization is doing great work, AF Proxy is here also to help. We cannot make that change unless the individuals, the people, the African man, woman, and child look in the mirror and say, I am African, I am proud, I am successful, I'm intelligent, I am not a statistic. These are the things that would change, because we always tell ourselves we can't, this, that. You know, when I was a kid, one of the things that I didn't like about my parents is because they weren't bad parents, they were great parents. But it just shows that in our communities there's a fundamental understanding of what we can do to build our economy. Because when I first started my first business, I was 11 years old. and that business was selling coconuts. And instead of being encouraged to sell more coconuts, I was told, no, go back to school. I'm not saying that school is a bad thing, but I'm saying what happened there is that the distinction of selling coconuts can't make you rich came into my reality. And now in my country, the largest distributor of coconuts is a European company. And that company now makes in US dollars over 7 million US dollars a year in profit. Now imagine if that child at 11 years old was encouraged to learn, go to school to learn and learn to sell coconuts better instead of being told coconuts is not your future. Imagine if the Nigerian kid who is right now drawing something in his room or making some intricate artwork or doing something is told that this is not your future. This is where we lose. And this is why we use technology today, because there's nothing that holds us back. The excuses that we had are gone. We no longer.
Thank you. Thanks so much. So briefly, as we close for today, I want us to look at this. I try to do the kind of, I'm talking about Zero to Wealth Digital Billionaires Mentorship Program, and I just put some the topics to cover, and I strongly, I was talking about poverty, and let me just give us 10 definitions of poverty, and then for you to consider this. Number one is abandonment. When you are poor, people abandon you. I mean, you're like, once a discussion is going on, you are not part of the discussion. You are kind of, even your wife will leave you. That is truth. Families will leave you because you can't contribute to their lives, because number two, you are valueless. You have no value to them. If they don't see you, they don't feel it. That's, I mean, that's even the valueless is the number one definition of poverty. Then abandonment, they leave you. Then disdain, there's disdainfulness. Disdainfulness says that when they talk about you worth nothing in their discussion, in people's discussion, you worth nothing. There's disdainfulness. Nobody, even when they say there's going to be a contribution, whatever, they don't even think about you. They don't see you existing. They don't see you existing. Then when your sibling is getting married and they don't even inform you about it, then you know that you are poor. They don't inform you that, oh, your sister is getting married, your brother, younger or elder one, especially younger one, so slapping. They don't even inform you, then you understand. Or when it is going to take others to decide what you are going to do or what you are not going to do. And that these are signs, that these are the definition of poverty, that you can't on your own decide something, you take steps, you have to depend on someone's decision. And when the career, the life of your children has to depend on another person making decision, that is not what the daddy says, but it has to be your brother or their one way or a nephew, someone else, or one way or the other. It means you are poor. Or you have a lady you have in mind that you are going to build future together, but somehow you are not of the standard to talk to her, to woo her. You know that this lady we can build future together, but you don't know that by stand you can't stand her. He tells you that you should know that there is some, apart from maybe I cannot talk, but I mean standing the standard. You check the standard, your standard, you are not closer in the standard in any way. You are poor. Then when a strange man sent money to your wife, and your wife is insisting that you take your phone and call the man to appreciate. I mean, you can just imagine that. These are my definition. I told us that I'm not a motivational speaker, so I don't read books to come and tell people. I read books to build myself, but I talk reality. When you are in any of my meeting, you are in face to face with reality. So that's why I come out straight. So if a strange man send money to your wife, and your wife could have the gut to tell you that you have to pick phones and call, then you know that you are poor. If if all your decision, all your planning, the spending is depending on a particular gift money or a particular money or a service just render. If all your spending is depending on that money that is coming, that it may come, it may not come, then you are poor. That is these are definitions of poverty. If you expect a certain money and it doesn't come and you are down, then you are these are signs of poverty. I don't know. I'm sure it's touching someone that is there. And then when your families don't seek, engage, or consider your opinion in the matters of the family, the matters of the family, they don't consider, they don't even seek, they even decide, they even know if you are around or not. Those are signs of poverty. And then when you cannot differentiate between trekking and the exercise, and you are so used to trekking that you don't know when you do exercise, you now convert, say, I'm doing exercise, and that's poverty. That's poverty. Then lastly, if you constantly and fully failing to perform your responsibility as a father, as a man. So in these all levels,
I don't think they're hearing you. Something happened. It come back on? Okay, because on the YouTube, I just think that there was a problem with song. Let me just check to make sure it's back on there. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So if you all have all these things, see, you are not, you see, I as a Christian, my secret has been the Holy Spirit. So I'm bold to say it anyway. And I can tell you, the Bible says the fools, the labors of the fools weary them, for they know not the way to the city. Now, you can have all the skills and still be a fool because you don't know the way to the city, the way to the market, the way to convert your labor into resources, into results, into fund, into prosperity. So I've been there. Anything I mentioned, it's a reality. You can be there, but the interesting thing is that you can come out of it. So that's why I said I understand the definition of poverty, but at the same time, I can tell you, you can come out of it. Take your time, check it. This program, Zero to Where Digital Billionaires Mentorship Program, I'm actually not charging. I don't charge people for my trainings. I'm making, it's just it's a commitment fee. And I've decided, because the first edition I told them, said make a commitment fee of 2,500, and then I said from the next edition it's moving to 5,000, and that is the truth. Because actually, if I'm going to charge people that attend my training, have testimonies, they know, but it's just getting people committed. So I've not decided today. I didn't want to talk about it on the program, but I said, look, let me just give this opportunity again. So between now and tomorrow, 5 p.m. tomorrow, I'm removing 2,000 naira from that 5,000 for those who want to. I don't do buy now, and we don't promote buy now on PowerCard project. We don't do it. So you have to understand how we operate. Therefore, I'm just giving it to as many who think that they need this. Find a way to talk to me on WhatsApp if you think you need it, and then I will direct you to how you can go about it, or you chat, you ask for it. I'll send you the link. The early bird till 5 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, 3,000 naira. So we'll be taking like I said, we have testimonies. We're taking digital marketing mastery, drop shipping business. We have our drop shipping program. We have affiliate program for us. We have resellers program. Then YouTube and Facebook creator, airtime and data sales business, video ads creation, Canva graphics design, email marketing, WhatsApp income generating, copywriting. Then we have bonus, PowerPoint presentation, data management, and customer targeting. So I can tell you, I share from my experiences, and interestingly, the training is on WhatsApp to other link, so that, and why I've done it that way is that you can be able to ask questions. You can see it's training also on WhatsApp, YouTube, and connect.com. So you're able to ask questions, you're able to do assignments, and there is no way you attend the training. It's just 3 weeks program, and the November edition is from 7th to 25th of November. So I encourage you to take the advantage of the program. And see you tomorrow again. Tomorrow is another day. It's 11 a.m. Let me just check. Any question? Yes. Okay. So, okay. Thank you. So we make the video available. Someone is asking. You will always have our training on EA Project TV on YouTube. You have the videos there. So I really appreciate our speakers for today, and Data Solutions and AfCFTA for being part of it. And they Connect, I didn't tell us, I think I will tell you, Connect.com is our partner. It's our partner, and the New Wave Technologies have a partner. It's a great partner. AfCFTA partner, great partnership. And like I told us, of course, the business of Africa, we have hosting plans for small businesses. That you may not be, that we have hosting plan for as low as I think if I'm correct, 15,000, 25,000, and very good. So it's just a way of seeing it that the business succeed, the African businesses succeed. So thank you for being part of this meeting today. We hope to see you tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow. We are having another great moment. We'll be looking at the 5G, the 5G, the MTN 5G. We'll be looking at the global digitalization. I mean, tomorrow is loaded again. It's going to be awesome again. Another awesome 2 hours. Just don't miss any session. Thank you for being part of the program.